Beginning, the wreck in the sky. The wreckage fell through the twilight clouds like shards of burning silver. I was watching the Perseid meteor shower that night, perched on the edge of the Atacama Desert Observatory, when one of those meteors screamed across the sky and slammed into the earth less than a kilometer away. The impact rattled the air, throwing sand and static into the night. For a few seconds, I stood there stunned, camera in hand, staring at the smoldering crater. My brain kept insisting it was just a meteor, but something about the way it had descended, controlled, deliberate, made my skin prickle. Curiosity overrode fear. I grabbed my flashlight and ran. The desert stretched silent under the starlight as I approached the crash site. Smoke curled up from a crater glowing with pale blue light. The air smelled metallic, sharp like ozone after lightning. Inside the crater, half buried in the sand, was something impossible. A smooth silver craft, shaped like a teardrop, cracked down the middle like an eggshell. Symbols shimmered faintly on its hull. My breath caught. I stepped closer, and the faint sound of a woman's voice reached me, weak, pained, and unmistakably calling for help. Without thinking, I climbed into the wreck. Inside, the air shimmered with thin blue fog. I passed twisted panels, sparking conduits, and something like liquid light dripping from broken pipes. Then I saw her, slumped against the wall, her skin faintly luminescent, her hair silver white and fanned around her face like threads of light. She wore armor that looked both ceremonial and alive, shifting faintly with her pulse. She looked human, but not. Her eyes were the color of distant nebulae, and when they met mine, I froze. "Please," she whispered in a trembling accent that was almost English. "Help me." There was blood, if you could call it that, seeping from her side, glowing faintly like molten sapphire. I didn't think, I just knelt beside her, pressing my jacket against the wound. "It's okay," I said. "You're going to be okay." But she was fading fast. Her skin lost its glow, her breathing slowed. I tightened my hold around her, panic rising, then something impossible happened. As my hand brushed her skin, light spread between us, a pulse of energy that surged through my arm and into her. It felt like electricity and warmth and gravity all at once, like the universe had taken a deep breath through me. Her body convulsed slightly, then steadied. The wound closed. Her eyes opened fully, glowing brighter than before. I stumbled back, heart pounding. "What the hell?" She looked down at herself, then at me. Her voice was soft, almost reverent. "You healed me." I didn't even have words. The alien princess, because there was no doubt now that she was something royal, rose unsteadily, the light in her veins dimming to a calm pulse. "Who are you?" she asked. "Ethan," I managed. "Astrophysicist. Or at least, I was before this." She tilted her head. "You have no markings of the imperial houses. No genetic sigil. And yet," her gaze softened. "You carry the resonance." "The what?" Before she could answer, alarms blared from the wreckage. The blue light flared crimson. Her expression hardened. "They found me." "Who?" She grabbed my wrist. "Run." And then we did. Middle, the princess of the ruined sky. We sprinted across the dunes as the ship behind us exploded in a column of silver fire. A shockwave rolled through the sand, hurling us to the ground. "Who's chasing you?" I shouted over the roar. "The Praetorate," she gasped. "My father's enemies. They seek the key of Verith, the energy that lies within me." And now, she looked at my hand, where faint blue lines were still glowing beneath my skin. "Within you." I stared at the light flickering through my veins. "What did you do to me?" "It's not what I did," she said, voice trembling. "It's what you are." Before I could ask more, the night sky tore open. A ship, sleek, black, and shaped like a dagger, descended silently, casting a beam of light across the desert. My mind screamed UFO, But my body was already moving. She pulled me toward the ridge, her movements fluid despite her injuries. "Name," I called as we ducked behind a dune. "Aria," she said. "Princess Aria of Lyrenne." The beam swept across the sand. Aria raised her palm, and a faint field of light shimmered around us, bending the air. The ship's searchlight passed right over us without pausing. "How are you doing that?" I whispered. She looked at me with something between awe and confusion. "I shouldn't be able to. Not after the crash. Not without the resonance crystal." "Then how?" "You," she said simply. Her hand brushed mine again, and that same energy surged between us, a connection, raw and alive. I felt her fear, her exhaustion, her hope all tangled together. I had no idea how, but somehow, I'd become part of whatever power kept her alive. When the ship finally pulled away, Aria lowered her hand, shaking slightly. "We must move," she said. "They will scan the area again." "Where?" She looked toward the horizon. "Somewhere with iron, salt, or static interference. Somewhere your world's machines cannot easily read." I thought fast. "There's an abandoned radio observatory 30 miles north. It's shielded, covered in old metal dishes. No one goes there anymore." She nodded. "Then that's where we hide." We traveled mostly at night, resting during the day in caves and canyons. Along the way, I learned more about her. Lyrenne, she told me, was a world that once orbited the twin stars of the Seraphis cluster. Its people could manipulate resonance, the living energy that connected all matter. Their power fueled civilizations, healed worlds, and inevitably bred wars. Aria's bloodline had sworn to protect the key, an ancient fragment of creation energy. But when her father was betrayed, she fled with the key hidden inside her genetic code. And now, somehow, I was linked to it. "You were never meant to exist," she said quietly one night as we sat beneath a sea of stars. "Your kind were not created to carry resonance. Yet when you touched me, it awakened." "Lucky me," I muttered. She smiled faintly. "Perhaps not luck. Perhaps design." There was a silence between us that stretched long and soft. Her glow bathed the sand around us, faint and warm. For the first time in my life, I felt something larger than the universe I'd studied, a connection not through science, but through something deeper, older. Then, just as I was about to ask her what would happen if the Praetorate found us, the answer arrived. "They did." Middle, continued, the hunters in the dust. The night erupted with engines and beams of light. 3 dark crafts descended, silent but deadly. Aria's hand snapped up, forming a shimmering barrier that bent the air around us. Bolts of blue energy hammered against it, sparks flying. She screamed from the effort. "Aria!" I grabbed her arm, but she pushed me back. "They're locking onto us, run." I pulled her toward the ruins of an old communications dish. We ducked inside as energy blasts tore the desert apart behind us. My heart pounded like a drum. "They won't stop," she said, breathing hard. "Not until they rip the key from my flesh." "Then we make them stop," I said, though I had no idea how. She looked at me for a long moment, her eyes glowing faintly. "You would fight for me." I didn't exactly sign up for this, but yeah, I said, gripping a rusted metal pipe. "Guess I'm in it now." Something flickered behind her expression, hope. She touched my chest, her palm glowing. "Then take this."